here at the, yes, will be in the header. So the database is a list of customers, how much they have in the account, and all of that. All right. So once there is withdrawal here at this branch office, this corporate office is aware, this corporate office is aware, everyone is aware. So for that to happen, it means that there must be connection of all of these LANs together. So this LAN is connected to this LAN, and that LAN is connected to that LAN. My drawing is not perfect, but you get the picture, right? When you now have corporate networks connecting to one another, what you have is a bigger kind of network. This kind of network is bigger than, is bigger than corporate networks. So this other big kind of network, inside which you have your corporate network, is now called enterprise network. So let's put it there. Enterprise, right? Enterprise network. So enterprise networks are bigger and usually spans across wider geography than corporate networks, which are typically within a building. All right. But that's only from the layman's, from a non-technical perspective. Viewed from the technical angle, one of the main differences between a corporate network and an enterprise network is this. Now, everything we have talked about so far is about what we see. It's about the physical. Now, let's go to something that is not physical. You know, in IT, in computing, there's always the physical part, the cable, the computer, things that you can see and feel and touch. They are called the hardware. There's also something running inside the hardware that you cannot really see, but they are just there running as programs. They are called software. So let's take a peek at the software of this corporate system. So the software that your corporate network will use to communicate, to connect with all these other 300 computers and set access level and security and so on and so forth is generally called Windows Server. So the operating system would be Windows Server operating system. What do we mean by that? So before we talk about you running applications on your system, on your computer, there must be an operating system. All right. So the operating system for a LAN within a building is Windows Server. That's the operating system, Windows Server. Now, this Windows Server is adequate to take care of 7 computers, 20 computers, 300 computers, 700 computers connected together on a network. But when this number of computers are going to 7, maybe 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and especially if this is not just about computers, let's extend this example beyond being a bank to maybe being a telecoms company like T-Mobile. So it means that in addition to the T-Mobile offices being connected, the T-Mobile customers, mobile phones needs to be connected. So you have mobile phone 1, it will be outside the corporate network. So let's put them. So you have mobile phone here, mobile phone there, mobile phone there, mobile phone there, all still connected to the T-Mobile network wireless. So this is connected to that network wirelessly. This is connected wirelessly. This is connected wirelessly. This is connected. So the idea what I'm trying to bring out from here is that there are now more devices to manage than you have on a regular corporate network. You now have thousands of computers and mobile phones to manage. All right. This kind of network is bigger than corporate and it's called enterprise. Therefore, Windows Server operating system will not do the work, cannot do the work. It's not robust enough. There's another kind of operating system that we must bring now to be able to take care of all of these computers within the enterprise, as well as manage all the mobile devices, 2 million, 3 million mobile devices of T-Mobile. That operating system is called, I should have put it there, but that place is too clumsy here. Let me put it here. It's a Unix-based operating system, and generally called Linux. So for small networks called corporate networks, Windows Server operating system would manage all of the computers fine. But for big networks called enterprise networks, Windows Server will not do it. You need a more robust, a more stable, a more versatile, a more dependable, all the good words operating system. And that operating system will be Linux. All right. So what you are going to learn now, what you are going to learn today is Linux operating system. In other words, you are learning from the software perspective how to manage corporate networks. Sorry, not corporate. how to manage what networks? Enterprise networks. Yeah. Okay, your question might be, why are we not starting from corporate? Yes, we used to start from corporate, but the interviews that I've attended on your behalf and knowing now what employers need to hear from you to give you a 140K job, they don't really need you to. Yeah, the understanding is good. It's not useless, but the questions will not be coming from this. Most of the questions will be coming from enterprise and cloud. So let's just give the market what the market wants. So that is why we are no longer talking about starting you here. Again, that is not to say that the knowledge is useless. It's just that we want to quickly, instead of doing a 6-month program to first of all teach you that, we want to quickly grab what employers are looking for, load them into you, test you once you are good, and then release you to them. In 4 months, it should be ready for the market, right? So we are starting this training with Linux, which is how to manage enterprise networks, because Linux is the operating system. By operating system, I mean Linux is out of all these many computers here. Head office, of course, usually to be at the head office. So we have to squeeze it into head office. Okay, let's say this one. So this computer is going to run Linux operating system, and you would sit there as administrator and manage the entire network, both the corporate networks at the other offices, especially, and all of the subscriber devices of that operator. So you can deduce from all of this that the billing system and the server, of course, it will not be one server. By the time you get into cloud, you did that. There is something called high availability. So for that reason, you need to replicate the servers. But basically, they will run Linux operating system. So the switch engineers of telecoms companies, they are very good at Linux because they program how the mobile phones work. So 3G, 3.4G, 4G, 5G networks, they all run from Linux-based servers. They may not call their own Linux. They could call it, it could be the Alcatel variant of Linux or the Huawei. The manufacturers of this equipment put their own Linux there. And Linux is open source, by the way. Okay, I'll talk about that later. But the point I was trying to make there is, even if they do not call it Linux, they could call it Ubuntu, call it Akin, it is still Linux inside. It's just that they customized it and gave it their own name. So that is the power of Linux. Once you know Linux and you know it well, you can work in any enterprise setting. And not just in enterprise setting, and that's not the reason we are learning it, also in cloud setting. So we are learning Linux so that we can work in both enterprise setting and in cloud setting. What is cloud setting and how does it relate to everything we are talking about? I'll talk about that. But before I clean this and move to something higher, all right. So let's find out how much we know. So what's the difference between a corporate network and an enterprise network? Anything?
The operating system.
Oh, the operating system is one obvious difference. So what operating system is what?
Correct.